Hello everyone, and here we have a new story. Before we get to that, I want to ask you to subscribe, like, and be sure to write comments in order to participate in the development of the community. Write how to improve my community, current topics and the stories you are interested in, and much more. I read and listen to all the comments. People write me stories by mail from different countries. There are problems with translation. I apologize for this. I will work on it and try to fix these errors. I want to thank everyone for their support and the people who wrote to me by mail, broadcast news stories. New videos on my channel are published once every 2 days at 7 p.m. Don't forget to put a bell in order not to miss new videos. And now let's go. Hello, I want to tell you a story about cheating. I'll start with my friend's story. I know them both very well, and in general, we often vacation together as families. I'm not going to tell you how they met, so let's get right to the point. She is 1 year older than my friend. He was 24 years old at the time. It all started with the fact that my friend began to suspect his girlfriend of cheating. She didn't let go of her mobile phone. She even went to the toilet and bathroom with a mobile phone. She also often talked on the phone and went to another room. When she was next to her beloved, the conversation on the mobile phone was very short. She answered yes or no. There were other factors of suspicion, but it doesn't matter anymore. My friend told me that his intuition does not fail him, and as it should have happened, his girlfriend made a mistake and did not have time to delete the Sims. This message was from her friend. The text of the message was not ambiguous. The message was an intimate plan from her lover. To be honest, I was shocked because I didn't expect her to do that. I even tried to protect her and told my friend not to be paranoid. But all the dots were set by another message that came on her birthday. Naturally, she denied everything and swore that she had not cheated. But my friend had a gift for convincing people, and his girlfriend confessed to everything. Even in the fact that my friend himself driven her to her lover without suspecting it. There were a lot of tears on both sides. But my friend forgave her and they continued to live together. Forgiving treason is one thing, but forgetting it is quite another. In general, somehow they lived together for another 1.5 years. My friend went on a business trip for 2 weeks, but in the end, he stayed for 1.5 months. When my friend was on a business trip and my story began, but I'll tell you about it later. Upon arrival, my friend's girlfriend behaved very affectionately and tenderly. But 2 hours later, she provokes my friend into a quarrel and accordingly gets what she wants. Having achieved her goal, she packs her things and driven home without even explaining anything. My friend, feeling guilty, buys a large bouquet of flowers and goes to her house to ask for forgiveness. As a result, his girlfriend honestly admits to him that she loves another. At the moment, she pretends to be happy with another man, and my friend pretends to be happy with another girl. Now I want to tell you about my situation. We started dating in 2018. 2 years later, our daughter was born. We started an ordinary routine life. As I told you earlier, at the time when my friend was on a business trip, although to be more precise, the doubts that appeared in my head were much earlier. My wife's unusual behavior contributed to all this. She began to carefully monitor her appearance and bought new underwear every week. She even cooked food for 3 days ahead at once and so on. I couldn't find a place for myself and searched for signs of cheating on Google. I was disappointed because I had 100 matches. But that wasn't enough for me. There is such an expression: if you are not caught, then you are not a thief. My wife went on vacation with her child and my friend's girlfriend. It was the girl I told you about earlier. I'd driven them to the airport and asked my wife to inform me how the plane would be landed, and she would check into the hotel. By the way, when we are at a distance, we often write to each other. But this time my wife ignored me. I called her nonstop and eventually she answered and said that everything was fine. The next day, my wife asks me to transfer money to her card, even though I had transferred $1,000 to her before and couldn't figure out where she spent it in 1 day. Anyway, I transferred another $1,000 to her card. I didn't even get a thank you in response. I forgot to tell you that her cell phone was registered to me. My doubts were gnawing at me from the inside. I was thinking, what should I do? I came up with the idea as a result of the fact that the cellular connection was registered to me. I could order a printout of telephone conversations to understand who called my wife and who she called. In the end, that's what I do. As soon as I received the printout of the calls, I started the analysis. I couldn't find anything for a very long time and already thought that I suspected my wife in vain. But eventually, I came across conversations from Egypt. That was my first evidence. I couldn't get that phone number out of my head. As a result, 2 weeks pass and my wife returns home. The first thing I did was enter the same number on her phone. The number was recorded in her phone by a girlfriend. The next day, our whole family decided to go out and have fun. Everyone had already gone out into the yard, but I decided to go back to the toilet. When I entered the house, I saw my wife's mobile phone. I took the phone to give it to her, and something made me look at the time. I saw one unread message. At first, it didn't even occur to me to look at what was written there because it was from the girlfriend of my wife's. But I still read it, and I quote, "My love, I love you very much and I miss you. It's a very strange message from a friend, isn't it?" As a result, I asked my friend to call this number. I was wondering who would pick up the phone for the girl or the man. As it turned out, it was a man. It all became clear to me, but I decided to find out who it was. In general, my search was not successful. Then I went back to printing out the phone calls. I found another phone number and secretly dialed it from my wife's cell phone. Anyway, I found out who it was. As it turned out, it was a married man who worked with my wife. He had children too. But there was no way to have sex at work, although maybe I'm wrong. My wife worked in a slot machine system. Her work schedule was as follows: a day at work, 3 days at home, and then I remember that a month ago she worked overtime and did it with pleasure. But again, I didn't believe in anything, because understood that if the thief was not caught, then he was not to blame. I found a wiretapping device on the internet and bought it, but the climax came sooner. I had a friend, Jessica. There was a real friendship between us and nothing more. My wife knew Jessica and was very jealous. On a day off, we start fighting and my wife shows her jealousy. My nerves were stretched like a string. In the end, I couldn't stand it and told her everything. I immediately asked who was her lover. My wife had a very surprised face. I can't put it into words. You should have looked at it yourself. She clearly hadn't expected this turn of events. She bulged her eyes and blushed, then said, "It's not what you think, we're just communicating, nothing more." I do not know how I restrained myself so as not to punch her. I don't hit girls, but I was shaking all over. My wife quickly picked up her things and left for her mother. Our child was with my mother at the time. Before she left, she said, "I'm leaving so that you can be alone and think about everything, but remember, we're just talking, nothing more." My anger abruptly changed to a feeling that I had been betrayed. A few days later, we met to talk. My wife denied everything. Although if you believe everything written on the internet about human behavior, how to recognize a lie, my wife lied and showed all the emotions at the same time. As a result, we are still together, but I do not know how long it will last. I didn't want to torment myself with thoughts of whether she had sex with him or not, but thoughts were multiplying like a virus in my head. Unfortunately, my daughter suffered in this situation. I treat my wife like a roommate. I don't have any love for her. This situation extinguished all my feelings for her. As a result, it took half a year and we got divorced. My wife confessed to cheating on me. We are currently having a lawsuit over our daughter. I don't want to leave her with her mother who betrayed our family for the sake of momentary pleasures. At the moment, I can only think of one proverb. If it seems to you that you are being deceived, then you are definitely being deceived. In general, friends do not repeat my mistakes. That's the whole story. If you liked it, put your finger up and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new videos. Now let's move on to the opinion of the author of the channel. The opinion of the author of the channel. According to tradition, I want to wish strength and patience to our hero. There was nothing surprising in your story. It was obvious that your wife was cheating on you. You just turned a blind eye to all suspicions. But in the end, you saw the light, and that's the most important thing. Don't make mistakes and move forward. You'll be fine. Even if the daughter stays with her mother, she will grow up and understand everything herself. The main thing is not to forget her. If you have watched to the end, I want to say thank you very much. I love you all. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey of love, betrayal, and redemption. I appreciate your support and encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this story. Your participation and feedback are invaluable for shaping our content and promoting mutual understanding and community growth. Until we meet again.